welcome back to my channel. It's Sarah, and today I'm going to talk about my top 18 reads of 2018. So 2018 was a really good reading year for me. I finished out the year with 120 books read. Now, a majority of these were audiobooks, but still, it all counts. And I am so proud of myself for all that I accomplished in 2018 because I had started with the original goal of 75 books, and I didn't even think I was going to reach that. It did not feel obtainable at all in any way, shape, or form. And then all of a sudden I'm at 100, and then now I'm at 120 at the final tally, and I'm just like, what just happened? It was a great year. Some months were better than others, but all in all, it was a really good reading year. Let's get into my top 18 of 2018. Coming in at number 18 is First We Were Four by Alexandra Staraway. This one I listened to on audiobook, and I absolutely loved this one. It was so creepy and like full of mystery, and I didn't know what was gonna happen or where the story was going. I had no clue, and I loved it. It is very akin to Pretty Little Liars, and it reminded me of We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. Even though I read We Were Liars after I read this one, the two of them remind me of each other in that there's a certain mystery to it that the audience isn't privy to, but yet once that thing is revealed, it's like everything makes sense. So I really enjoyed this one. Number 17, Heart of Iron by Ashley Poston. This one is so good. It is a retelling of the Anastasia story set in space. And if that is not enough of a draw, I don't know what is. I listened to this one on audiobook, and I loved it so much. I loved the characters, I loved the setting, and the fact that it was the Anastasia story retold, but in such a new and fascinating voice and unique setting. So I really enjoyed this, and the ending just broke my heart, and I need the second one because I need all to be right with the world. Number 16, A Date with Darcy, the first book in the Bookish Boyfriend series by Tiffany Schmidt. This one I loved so much. It is a retelling-ish of Pride and Prejudice with a twist of Romeo and Juliet thrown in there, and it is so interesting because it starts off one way, but then it continues a different way, and then it turns back, and it is such an interesting take on the Pride and Prejudice story that I was fascinated by that point alone, but then it like threw in more stuff, and it just was so interesting to me. I love when retellings, they take what I know, what is just essential to the story, and they just twist them in a way that makes it seem so different and unique, but it still adheres to the law of the world. It doesn't deviate too far away from the original source material, but it deviates enough away that it makes it different and it makes it unique. And that's what I love about this story, that it was so unique to me, and I loved it. Number 15, The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. And this one I loved so much. Again, it's another retelling of a classic story, but it told it in such a way that it was so uniquely different than the story itself, than the source material. It deviated away from that, but not so far to where it didn't make sense. And it was really interesting. I loved the characters. I loved this whole dynamic set up of it, and I loved it. I could not stop listening to this one. It was so, so good. Number 14, Daughter of the Siren Queen by Trisha Levenseller, the second book in the series of Daughter of the Pirate King, and I loved this one. I thought that this was just a great ending to a great story. It just took what we knew from the first one and just kind of like just said, okay, let's go for broke. It just was so good. I loved the lady pirates in it, and Raiden and Alosa, of course, and all the characters that we met in the first one that we love and fell in love with, and then it just like put them in a new situation, and I thought this is a great ending to a great duology. Number 13, To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This one is a retelling of The Little Mermaid, and I have a thing about retellings, so but I loved this one so, so much. I loved the characters. I loved Lyra. I loved how twisted it was. It was very much a straight retelling of The Little Mermaid, but there was such a uniqueness to it. I loved the lushness of the worlds, the different kingdoms that we got to go to, and I loved the characters so, so much. And I want more from this world. I really do. And Alexandra Christo, I want more from her. Number 12, Love, Life, and List by Casey West. I just love how snarky Abby was. She was just so funny and sarcastic, and I loved that about her. I loved the deep topics that it talked about with anxiety and with her mother's anxiety specifically and how it affects her. And I loved that about this story. So I loved it, and I want more Casey West that's like this. This one was so good. Number 11, Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. This one I loved so, so much. Just the world was so beautiful, and the characters were just so great because they weren't perfect characters. And they weren't made to be perfect characters. Elin is probably my favorite character that I've read of 2018 because she was so flawed. And you just wanted to shake her and be like, no, stop being so stubborn. Just listen for once in your life. Just listen. And I loved that about Elin. This world was so amazing. And I loved this one so, so much. Plus Vikings. Gotta love the Vikings. Number 10, Sea Witch by Sarah Henning. This one is another retelling of The Little Mermaid, but this one is really interesting because it is told from Ursula's point of view, and it's kind of like a prelude to The Little Mermaid story, but yet it still includes a lot of The Little Mermaid story itself. So I don't know if it's a direct retelling or a prelude to the retelling. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to find out when the second book comes out in this series because this one was so good. I loved so many themes and elements to this story. I loved the fact that it was told in present and in past, and I just loved this one so much. I just love retellings. I can't help it. Number 9, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This one made me super uncomfortable in the best possible way. It helped to expand what I have always thought and what I do think, and it helped to kind of bridge a gap between what I know and what I don't know, if that makes complete sense. But it definitely made me uncomfortable, and I think that's the mark of a really powerful book, is that it's supposed to make you uncomfortable, and it's supposed to make you think and not change your perspective, but it's to help kind of understand a different perspective, because I'm not ever going to understand the perspective of the main character. I'm never going to be able to for anything. That's just that's the way it is. But this book helped me understand a little bit more of that perspective, a little bit better of that perspective. Though I will never be a Star, I can definitely be more of a Chris and less of a Haley. So definitely one of the most powerful books I've ever read. Number 8, Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. This one, I don't know why I put off waiting this long to read it. It just is what it is. It is a really cute, adorable story, and anytime I see or think of Oreos, I definitely think, Simon, where are you at? And I want to be his friend so bad. I just want to be a part of that group. It just, oh gosh, they're so lovely, and I love this one so much. Number 7, To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, and P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. So these two are part of the same story, so this is number 1 and this is number 2. I absolutely loved this series so much. It is so adorable. I love the letter aspect to it. I love Laura Jean as a character. I just love this story so much. I am so excited to read Always and Forever Laura Jean. I don't know when I'm gonna read it, but I'm definitely really excited to read it, and I can't wait for the sequel to come out on Netflix for this one. I loved the movie, so this series was so good. So good. Number 6, To Be Honest by Maggie Ann Martin. This one I loved so much. It gave me so much hope and optimism for characters that are plus-sized. I loved so many aspects of this. I loved George. I thought he was such a fun character and just a great love interest. And I loved Savvy. I just loved so many of the characters in this story, and I think what I loved most about it is the heart that it had, and the fact that it does tackle an aspect of body positivity that isn't so glamorous, and it's the hard truth of bodies and how we look at ourselves in the mirror and how others look at us. And I do want to give a trigger warning for eating disorders as well as body dysmorphia. So if those things do harm you in any way, please take care of yourself. But I think that this is one of those stories that it doesn't outright say it, but it's very much there. It's very prevalent. And it is something that is prevalent in our society, and something that we need to make every effort to make sure that everybody feels like they are worth something regardless of their size. So I loved this one so much because it gave me so much hope. Alright, so we are down to my top 5 books of 2018. Number 5, The Traitor's Kiss by Erin Beatty, and The Traitor's Ruin, also by Erin Beatty. And it's part of the Traitor's Circle trilogy, and I can't wait for the 3rd one to come out. Like, I am so beyond excited. This first one, The Traitor's Kiss, had me in tears. It had me laughing. It had me just screaming out. I knew it. It was so good. I loved this story so much. I just loved the characters. Sage Fowler was just an amazing character. I loved everything about it, and I will always recommend this one to anybody that is reading fantasy or wanting to get into fantasy. It's very good, and I definitely recommend this one for anybody to read. It's, like I said, it's my top 5. It's in my top 5. It's probably one of my favorites that I've read ever. So along with the rest of the ones that are my top 5, definitely. Oh, so good. Number 4, Dumplin by Julie Murphy. This one, I will shout it at the rooftops. This one is one of my favorite reads ever. I just love the body positivity of this one. I love the fact that it takes place in a pageant world, and just so much about this one I love, and I love what the movie did with it. I thought Amber should have been in the movie as well, but that's just my opinion. But regardless, I love this story so much. It is so good, and I can't wait to read Puddin'. I'm a big Millie fan, so I can't wait to read her story, and I'm so excited. So this one definitely in my top 5. Number 3 goes to My Lady Jane by the Lady Janies, Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. This one, along with My Plain Jane, also by the Lady Janies. I love this series so much. It is so unique and just so amazing. I don't even know what more to say about it. These blew my mind. I listened to the audiobook of My Lady Jane, and then I read through My Plain Jane, and it's just seamless between the 3 of them. It is so funny and hilarious and just so heartfelt, and it's just a brilliant series, and I can't wait for my Calamity Jane. I am so excited for that one. I'm beyond excited for it. Number 2, A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This one is so good. The world of it just blew my mind, because it's based in our world, but it's not based in our world, so it's got both elements to it, and it's just, you go back and forth, and just so good. Oh my gosh, it is so good, and it's so worth the read. I just love this book so much, and I am so excited to continue on with this series. I'm so excited for it. And coming in at number 1, my favorite read of 2018, my top pick is Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This one is just the perfect ending to this amazing, wonderful story that it told. It just was so good. I read 420 some pages in one night. And that's unheard of for me. Unless it's an audiobook, I can barely read 100 in a day. And for me to read 400 and some, I'm beyond giddy with being able to do that. But this one was so good and so worth every heartache and heartbreak of the other 2, and we get to meet up with all of the characters that we meet throughout, all that they converge, and it's just so perfect. I just loved this one so much. It was the perfect ending. It was just the perfect ending to a great series, and the perfect ending to my list. So there you have it. That was my top 18 books of 2018. Thank you again so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what your favorite reads of 2018 were, or were not, or if any of my list made your list or not. Let me know down below. Thank you again so much for watching, and as always, until next time, happy reading and Happy New Year! Bye guys!